Intel Arc A380 review. The first generation of Intel's first discrete graphics processor is now functioning. Since the successful launch of Intel's newest designs, we've been eagerly anticipating the launch of their first entry-level option in the Alchemist lineup. As we all have obtained our share of the A380 graphics card, ours is the gun-near photon model, which appears to be well constructed, but we want to talk about the A380 GPU at length first. One of TSMC's N6 processes is used to build the DG2-128 die, which generates 7.2 billion transistors. The core's configuration consists of 10 24 cores operating at speeds up to 2 GHz, 64 TMUs, and 32 ROPs. The memory packs 6 GB of 15.5 Gbps DDR6 memory on a 96-bit wide bus for 186 GB bandwidth. Intel's GPUs include AV1 fixed-function hardware encoding, DisplayPort 2.0, DirectX 12 Ultimate, hardware-based ray tracing, and CSS, which is Intel's version of supersampling based on neural networks and similar to NVIDIA's DLSS. These new graphics cards will closely rival AMD and NVIDIA hardware when it comes to features. In terms of performance, however, that's a completely different story. Other news outlets also scooped on the A380 recently, so if you came across some of the announcements, you may be aware that Intel still has a lot of work to do with driver development. And there are just some quirks, such as the need for resizable bar support, to achieve optimal performance. In the future, our plan is, to begin with, our traditional assessment format for the A380 and then follow in the coming weeks with greater testing to confirm baseline performance across a wider variety of games. We aim to stay on course with driver optimizations, and we plan to continue gathering all related data so that we will be able to monitor its progress as it happens. For our testing, we're doing our Ryzen 9 5950X GPU test system. It is challenging to pair a budget graphics card with this CPU, but that's beside the point. Thus, we do not wish to introduce a CPU bottleneck that might affect the data. With low-end to entry-level GPU testing, we usually use medium-quality settings or settings that are relevant to a given title. The Intel A380 was tested with only resizable bar turned on, while other GPUs were tested with rebar disabled, but this is something we will correct in the future. The research was performed at 1080 and 1440p resolutions in order to get to the pertinent 1080p findings, which you will see in a moment. Let's now look at those. For observing general cooling performance, we used the Intel Graphics Command Center to display gameplay screens, which streamed video on the A380. Obviously, we still have a little studying to do, but we were unable to record gameplay smoothly. The game ran much smoother than the recording. But, since the game was being rendered with the aid of that graphics card, we'll use it. The gun-near photon A380 card has drawn in around 60 degrees with a fan speed of at most 1600 RPM, making it very quiet and cool. The graphic processor unit is typically accustomed to around 2.4 GHz and the memory is dedicated to operating at 15 GB per second. Grateful for the high-quality graphics card. The entry-level Intel System Liquid Crystal A380 referentially is unreleased, but Intel's concern right now is exceedingly grave. Driver optimization could be the Achilles heel of any Intel discrete GPU venture's destination, and perhaps that's all we're looking at here, a lack of driver development that could improve over the coming months and years. Frankly, that may be the best possible outcome given the speculation that Intel's been holding back the release of their Arc series due to fundamental hardware issues that can't be addressed by drivers alone. Of course, this is merely conjecture, but the rough start is anticipated to be just like that. Intel's Arc project has also received a lot of attention lately, with many claiming the chip giant intends to abandon the project. According to a widely circulated rumor, Intel attributed this to investors believing that the project is as unprofitable as ever.